Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Hey, everybody.
WikiTree Day 2023. How is everybody doing in our panel today?
Well, we are doing great. Well, I am. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm doing great.
Doing good. We're doing good here in Chicago area.
Well,
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, what you're looking at WikiTree ambassadors, and that's just so awesome. So thank you guys for being here for this panel. If it were not for you, the ambassadors sharing the WikiTree love, we would be missing out on a lot of great content. And we're going to take a little bit of tour of every ambassador you see here, what they use the Ambassadors Project for. And at the end, we're going to also tell you how to get started, because you got to share the WikiTree love, right? I think the first thing we should do is turn it over to Azure, who is our project leader. And I got to tell you that Azure does a tremendous amount of work with the project. Every time you see something on social media reminding you of something or telling you about a new study or a new place or any poll or data or connection, that's Azure. That's doing a lot of that work. So let's go ahead and get started, jump in, and tell us about the Ambassadors Project.
So the Ambassadors Project is here because it's a way to get the word out about WikiTree through word of mouth, basically, because we don't have an ad budget, basically, because we're trying to keep it free, trying to keep WikiTree free. It's been pledged to stay free forever. So to keep costs low, we don't spend money on advertising. Everything's done on a volunteer basis. And that's it in a nutshell. So you can see we have the project page, has a link there to how to join the project. We'd love for everybody to join because there are so many different ways that you can be an ambassador. Everybody here kind of has a different way that they participate. There's blogs, forums, link building, social media, there's presenters. So all different kinds of ways to help out.
And we can always use more ambassadors. There's never an end to how many ambassadors we can use in WikiTree. Let me show you something that Azure puts together every week. And I love this because it gives me a snapshot of everything that's going on. And again, every time you're on social media, whatever that social media might be, there is information about WikiTree. The chances are Azure's the one who did it. So this happens to be one of the weeks that we're looking at. And it's pretty easy to figure out. You can see where the social media links are, but how do I read this? How do I work this, Azure?
Yeah, so across the top, we have the main row there showing what day of the week, the subject that the post is about, and then you can find whichever social media channel you prefer. So those images across the top actually link to the official WikiTree account on those social media channels. And then now under it, for like Sunday, we had the Saturday roundup summary short. We put together a little short of the Saturday roundup every week and get that out on social media just to kind of tease people about that weekly roundup that Mags and Greg and Betsy do. And each of those links then under each column for a social media channel will take you to that post. So if you prefer to share the WikiTree love on Facebook, for instance, if you click the link for that one, for example, it opens it up, and then you can share it out to your social media group that maybe you're part of for genealogy or for family history. You can give us a like, and that all helps us spread the love and be effective cousin bait for WikiTree.
You can also share it on your various social media platforms as well, too.
Yeah, so there's Mastodon, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, and then of course YouTube. And I've linked also if there's a G2G post that corresponds with it, and any images that go along with it. So
I love it because it's very graphic. It tells me exactly where to go. How many of you have been on social media and you maybe cooking dinner or standing in a line grocery store, something like that, and you're looking through your phone because you're bored, and then you're like, oh, I got to come back and see what that post was. And then you can't get back to it because you can't remember where it is. Well, this page has it. This page has everything you need for the week. And also you work on the week. You always have an archive of the week before or that happened, and you're working on the week going forward. But this, because there's some things that are always going to be the same. The question a week is always going to be here. The one name Tuesday, one place Wednesday, and the project showcases are always going to be on.
Yes. Yeah, and there is an archive. So we have archive going back to when I started really doing this. And then there's also a G2G post, a summary for each week that goes out. So that's also attached to this page when it's the most recent one. And then it gets attached to the archive page when it's a previous. Yeah. So there you go. It's just kind of a snapshot summary to share with the community about what's going on out in social media.
And this is really great. So if you're in a project and you recognize that maybe this is your one place Wednesday, or maybe you're like, oh, there's a one name Tuesday. I know the person who leads this. I don't have any kinghorns in my family, but you could still share. Yeah. Even if you're not involved in any of these particular studies or whatever LiveCast is going on, you could still share. Sharing is caring, right?
And it always it's what keeps it free. What keeps Wiki free. Sorry, stumbling over my words. It helps keep WikiTree free. That's what drew me to the project to begin with. Was how can I help spread the love?
And I think it can't be said enough that if you have gone to other places to do your genealogy, chances are the places that you've gone to, there's a fee. And not only is there a fee, it's a pretty good fee. You know, it's a pretty substantial fee. You don't have that at WikiTree. And part of the reason you don't have that at WikiTree is because of the Ambassadors Project. So anybody who wants to jump in at any time, share the links and get involved. Just join the Ambassadors Project. Now, see, we're sharing the love already. Now, let's go ahead then and jump over to what happens if you want to do a little bit more than behind your desk and sharing links, and you actually have membership in a club that you meet with. It could be any type of club. It could be something that is historical or genealogical, or it could be a car club. You know, it could be any type of organization that you have, and you want to talk to them and convince them into WikiTree. Let's head over to Amy and talk a little bit about presentations, about actually giving a presentation.
So that was actually how I started with the Ambassadors Project a couple of years ago. I'm a member of a genealogical society, and they asked me to write an article for their newsletter. So I started with that, about what WikiTree is, what it's not, how to get started. And from there, I was asked to do a presentation. And so I started looking for, you know, different things on WikiTree that were available for people that wanted to do presentations or had been asked to do presentations. And at first it was kind of slim pickings because there's a lot of stuff on DNA, which I am no expert in. So I don't do a lot there. But then, you know, there's the handout for the honor code. There's an introduction to WikiTree video that's really great, and some slides as well. And I believe it was Asher that put that together. I'm not positive.
No, but I think you're right.
Yeah. So that's all helped me with the presentations that I've been asked to do. And I know that Marty's an old hat at doing presentations. He's done way more than I have. So maybe he would like to share some tips and things.
Yeah, thanks, Azure. Yeah, it's. I think when I decided to start getting involved back in, yeah, I guess maybe introduce myself. I'm Marty Axe, and I am a WikiTree ambassador. When I've been a member, I think, I'm not sure how long, 8 or 9 or 10 years. So after a couple of years, you know, I really you get to feel to be you're part of a community. And one of the things I want to do is, particularly now that I've retired, I just want to find ways to give back. And there's certain skills that you may have that you can apply to, you know, doing good for the rest of your life. And one of the things I used to do as a software product manager, I used to do presentations about new features in the product, why our product was better than something else in the market, perhaps. So I was reasonably comfortable doing presentations. I'm not, you know, you can probably tell from 5 or 10 minutes, I'm not exactly the most polished presenter in the world, but I can get through it, if you will. And specifically related to WikiTree, my local library here in Downers Grove, Illinois, was just starting. They were just on the trying to start up a genealogy group where they maybe meet 6 times a year. So I volunteered to do a presentation. I got to know the librarian, and so it was kind of a low key. We had maybe 10, 12, 15 people there. So it was kind of a low risk situation for me in terms of talking to people. Some other general comments. So I'm okay doing presentations, and even if you're not somebody that likes to sit in front of a group or talk in front of a group, a couple of observations I might have is you're almost always in front of an extremely friendly group. I've never been booed or had people roll their eyes. I don't know if I've even had people leave, at least not physically. Probably during a webcast or something. But people are generally hungry for information and a new topic. And one of the things that when I do a lot of attended a lot of different genealogy meetings, and no one around, at least in Chicago, no one's really was speaking on WikiTree. So one of the things my goal was I didn't really want to go out and compete with some of the really talented people that are doing this for a living. And WikiTree, since none of them were really talking about WikiTree, I thought this was kind of a nice topic to talk about. Some of my slides, Amy was bringing up a few of her slides, or Azure was, I forget who was bringing up the slides. Sorry about that. I've got some similar slides. I do find when I'm talking about WikiTree, I tend to focus. I didn't think I would have done this, but you end up focusing a lot on the honor code, because the honor everything sort of starts at the honor code, and it talks about a lot of the features in WikiTree. So I spend a lot of time on that. I will spend a little time on the DNA side when I talk about it, and I can get my presentation out here, or one of mine. So I'll talk about that. And I talk from a personal experience point of view. So I'll talk about the things that I like in WikiTree. You just absolutely cannot cover the entire topic of WikiTree in a 50-minute session. So I've picked certain things I like to talk about. I do like editing in a wiki format. So before I used WikiTree, I was a Wikipedia editor. I'm a very, very occasional Wikipedia editor. I would basically make minor changes, not doing a lot of new content creation. But so I was familiar with the concept of editing in a wiki. So I focus a little bit of my presentation on that, and the fact that one of the things you can do, and forget all the free stuff, but which is important. But one of the things that WikiTree lets you do is really do attractive, compelling storytelling visually, and you can put pictures in them. You can format things. You can have tables and things like that. It's really hard to do that in a lot of the other tools, because they're very data-driven types of tools, and maybe they give you a text field. So I'll focus on those types of things. I've probably done about 10 or 11 presentations. People seem to know me in the Chicago area, so they'll reach out to me occasionally. Someone stumbled across me maybe from last year's WikiTree days. I just did a presentation for some folks in Virginia to about 150 people on a webcast. One of the things I would share also is once you do this, now you sort of fall into the role of like the local expert. So now in one of my genealogy clubs, it's like, people will, or societies, whatever what the term is, they'll send notes like, ask Marty about that at WikiTree. And generally on a major presentation, I usually get 1 or 2 people saying, hey, I tried this, or I tried WikiTree, or I had this question. The last person that reached out to me from the Virginia meeting earlier last month came back and said, here's this WikiTree, and the profile, it's a mess. And I got back to him, was like, yeah, it is a mess. And this is an opportunity for you. So, and it gives you an opportunity then to discuss that. You're going to find a lot of mature areas of the tree in WikiTree, but you're also going to find areas that need love. So it's a little, if you try to compare it to Wikipedia, Wikipedia's articles are largely very, very mature. We have lots of mature articles, but we have lots of areas or profiles. We have lots of profiles that also need that could use some help, if you will. So there's a few observations about that. I was watching one of the slides here. I could put my presentation out there. You're free to use it. A couple other observations. I do charge the normal going rates for. I'm not really looking to make money, so we'll get into how much I charge. But my entire salary was one WikiTree presentation, which might be a nice dinner for 2 or 3 or 4 people out. And mainly because I don't want to be the guy giving free presentations and annoying the professional speakers in the area, because there are people that are trying to build businesses, and very few people are getting rich doing business at a local and regional level in this industry. So I don't really want to compete with them. That's also why WikiTree is kind of a nice topic to choose. We're going to talk a little bit about the end about how maybe some ideas about how to get started. So I don't think I'll go there. The only other comment I might make in terms of me personally, I do some of the social media stuff. Other people do a little bit more of it. I go hot and cold on social. If Amy or Asher sends me a note to promote something, I'll do it. But I'm not somebody that's on there every day and has to like everything and read everything. So hot and cold there. So, but I do participate in the social media side, and I think as a foray into some folks that do blogging and things like that, is I have a website out there. It's got 1 page on it. It's a WordPress website. So I'm not going to tell you that. Well, you could probably guess, but I'm not going to tell you what the URL is. Maybe next year or a year or 2 from now, I'll actually commit to doing that. But I think a lot of us have our hands in too many pies, if you will. So anyway, so that's a little bit on WikiTree presentations. I'm going to turn it over to, I think, Brian now, so that he can explain what he does in terms of the WikiTree ambassador world. So, Brian, the floor is all yours.
Thanks. I'm Brian Nash, and I have a YouTube channel where I talk about genealogy. I started my YouTube channel a few years ago. It was actually an offshoot of a podcast I did about Atlantic Canadian ancestry and sharing the stories of people's family history. And one of the things I really like, I love WikiTree. Big ambassador. I think anybody uses WikiTree, they start using, they almost automatically become an ambassador. They'll talk to their friends in genealogy about it. So whether they're officially in the ambassador's project or not, you're sort of an ambassador already. One of the things I like to do is use my social media and use WikiTree in the things I do normally. They have the weekly questions that are up there. I'll answer them with a video. I haven't done some in a while because I sort of have a seasonal YouTube channel, in the sense in the summer I do more research and other stuff, so I don't get to do, and I'm busy otherwise, so I don't do as much video recording. And but I use WikiTree that way. I will answer the questions. I started doing answering questions sometimes in just in the G2G, but then I realized I'm doing YouTube channels. I want to share this info. I have a YouTube channel. Why not share this information? And I find it allows me to use my personality. But I also, in other type videos that I'm doing, no matter what they are, I try to tie it into WikiTree if I can. So if I'm talking about how to do research or different tools that are out there, I'll use WikiTree as an example, and I'll use WikiTree and showing people that's where they should be recording their actual family tree online. And because it's just great. It's free, it's collaborative, which I love, and I just try to make people involved. So the big thing is I find is doing the things I normally would do in my day-to-day, whether it's on YouTube or even on other social media. For instance, if I'm reading in a group about a certain historical period on Facebook, if I find a link to a person or an event that's being studied, that's being talked about, I'll often link WikiTree in there, find the appropriate links. So yeah, I find, just doing what I love to do, it gives me lots of opportunity to promote WikiTree, and I promote it because I love it, and I think people that use it get to love it too. So, like I said, that's what I do. And I know the next person I'm going to introduce you is Chris. Chris is actually an example that I've used. I've had him on my one of my live stream podcasts because I got to know him from WikiTree. And Chris is going to actually talk about his blog and how he uses blogging to promote WikiTree.
I think Chris might have his mic muted. Let's see if we can.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. Sorry about that. Yep. And thanks for the introduction, Brian. And like Brian, I used to be a YouTuber. I used to review comic books like from Marvel, all that stuff. I don't want to really get into that, but I do want to get into my blog, though. I actually started this back in 2019, I think. And as like a way to write about the two ancestors by Amy Johnson Crow. She's a genealogist, and she sent us like email out to everybody to talk about your ancestor for every week of the year or something like that. And there's like various topics. Like last topic was about friends, and I think this week is about digging a little deeper. At the time of the recording, anyway. But like we would just like find a topic, like that prompt up there says, we all get by with a little help of our friends, just talk about the various topics, and just write, just say whatever you want to say about a specific ancestor, just write. So I figured in 2019, rather than just like replying to posts in the GGG forum, I would just be like, why don't I just write a blog? I mean, I already have a blog with my comics and everything. I also do a webcomic every week. And I was like, you know what? Why don't I just do that? I already have like a blog spot. So I used blogspot.com to create a blog, right? And then I just share the post on various social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and whatever else out there. And, I just talk about that there, and generates a lot of buzz. And, you get questions, you get comments, nice ones, some weird ones, but that's just how the internet goes. So you just run to the blog, and that's about it. You just talk to me. All you have to do really just write what you want to write. Say what you want to write. Like, say you want to talk about your great grandfather, your great grandmother, somebody in your family. You can write. It doesn't matter how long it is. Doesn't matter how short. Just write a story, and you know what? You can also put that story into your WikiTree profile of that ancestor, and just kind of like maybe condense it, or go into greater detail, link a few profiles. What I like to do in my blogs, though, is basically add I like to add like a link to a WikiTree profile. Say I see Sandy scrolling down here faster than I can think here. If you like go to see that link for Francesco Coppola, you can click that, and it goes right to their WikiTree profile page. I like to add those links because it'll just like connect the site. I mean, it's not just me like advertising WikiTree, even though it kind of is. I just like to, show the work, basically, what I did for that profile. Just so that I actually know what I'm doing, And that's just basically like how I like to blog. I also like to just talk, just like how we're talking right now, just take it easy, take it slow, be relaxed, and just write. That's all you really have to do when you're blogging, and as you can see, I've done it for a very, very long time, and I tend to get really long-winded. And I'm sure you guys noticed. Sandy, thanks for scrolling, and I think I'll toss it back over to you.
Okay, I think moving on, I got to tell you though, before I move on, I'm smiling because just this week, I had mentioned to somebody on WikiTree they needed help with an area, a country that they're not familiar with at all. And they said, well, what do I do? Do I just contact, I gave them a name. Do I just contact that person? I go, yes, you just contact that person and I'm positive, tell them what you need. And I'm positive they will appreciate it. Literally 10 seconds later, Chris had given me the link to this particular blog entry, Friends, that mentions that sometimes you need help with genealogy and you should reach out to your friends, such as your WikiTree friends. And in 10 seconds after that, I had already responded to his social media saying, guess what? That's true. So I think that was great timing of how a blog not only stirred the conversation to go look at a profile, but it stirred conversation on social media to keep it going as well, bringing it back to WikiTree. My next part that I will take is family reunions. And most of you know that I am from Appalachia and we talk about family reunions. We could have one every month, honestly, and we probably do. But family reunions are very important to us. And I notice as the family historian, I get tons of questions every time there's a family reunion. Some of it I know off the top of my head, and then some of it's really obscure and I don't. So what do? I tend to go back to WikiTree. I'll have my tablet or my phone and look it up pretty quick and instantly. But I love this idea that WikiTree has created a couple really ingenious ideas for us to have our our family reunion on WikiTree. And this gives you, this page gives you a couple ideas of just how to do a reunion. So if you don't know what's a reunion, what should I do, how should I do it, this just gives you some general tips about a reunion, which is great. I love those. The thing that I really particularly love about WikiTree, though, is I can either go to the person that somebody has a question about, or I can print out sample pages and I can type in or handwrite in the ancestors and pass them out. A lot of times, especially in Appalachia, what we do is we have a reunion not just for our particular close family, but for a last name. So example, I grew up going to a top of a mountain in the middle of West Virginia. There was nothing really around. It was just one little park up on top of the mountain. And it was called the Hamrick Gregory Dodrell Family Reunion. If you've ever been around West Virginia, I can tell you there are a bazillion Hamricks around. So it was quite large. We got a lot of people. But what everybody wanted was this particular page that showed the first Hamrick or the first Gregory or the first Dodrell that came to the area. And then they could branch out and try to figure out who these 250 people that are here snacking on potato salad and hot dogs are. So this was really helpful. I've used this many times throughout the years to try and give people an idea of who their first ancestor is that is in that particular area. And why in the world are we calling this the Hamrick Gregory Dodrell reunion? This page actually helped me answer that. The other thing that I really like, I have used something like this in the past, but I love WikiTree's form better. Whenever somebody would come into the reunion, we had a little table set up to the side. And I'm telling you, all you need to do is put a sign that says free genealogy here, and people will storm that table quicker than they will the potato salad and hot dogs. Trust me on this. So we had,
with the activity stuff.
We had this form there so people could fill it out. And that's how we updated if anybody had new babies or new marriages, or even some that maybe passed away or divorced. So this is how we could keep track of dates and information. Like I said, I had a real basic form. I love this form better because what we did is at the end of this reunion, we had many pages. So we divvied them up between 4 of us. So everybody could go to WikiTree and update and enter the information in there, especially for those that had passed on. And then we have an internal website for those that are living that we could update. This, I can't tell you how fabulous this is to work on genealogy, because if somebody's living, you don't always have access to their records. And if they're having babies and you're older like me, I might not ever know the exact birth date for some of these children. So it's really great. If you're thinking about doing a reunion, then this is great. If you're not thinking about doing a reunion, I'd like to tell you guys that you should think about having one next year. And again, if you just call it a genealogy reunion of your family, they will show and they will definitely appear. This is something fairly new. This has been on WikiTree since 2010, and this is something fairly new that I saw. Once you're done with that family reunion, come back to WikiTree. Every family reunion, we take this huge photo of everybody. You know, so it used to be somebody was up on a ladder. Now we have somebody that uses a drone to take a picture, but somebody would get up on a ladder and take a picture of this entire large group of people. Great photo. Who's going to name all the people in that photo? And is it going to fit on the back of that photo? Or are you going to write on that photo? It was real tricky for many years. I love the idea of coming to WikiTree, and you could just label this the Smith Family Reunion 2023. You put in the location, however you want to name it. You can name it, and then include the photo and include the names. Because if you're like me, photos are important to me. I see the people's faces, or I see how this gentleman's dressed. He's sitting there by a chair. This tells me a lot about who he is as well, and where he lives. And photos are important to me. So if we had that group photo, we bring it up here on a WikiTree space page. We can attach that to every person's profile. And then you would see the group along with their family together and their extended family. It's just a really great idea. It's a really, really cool, great idea to bring everybody together. And since we're talking about bringing everybody together and linking them, let me throw this to Ash to kind of change the subject, but keep with the linking theme. And link builders. What the heck is link builders, Ash?
So link builders is a way for ambassadors to link back to WikiTree from other websites. So there's a YouTube video I did at the top there, kind of will take you through how to do for the different, how to link back for the different places like Find a Grave and IMDb. But there's some examples we wanted to share. Vincent Schiavelli has an IMDb profile, and what we've done is added a link back to WikiTree from his IMDb page. So anybody who's looking at the miscellaneous sites part of his IMDb page can come back to WikiTree. So these are just
brilliant. That I didn't know IMDb. This is brilliant.
Yeah, it's just a little way to spread the word and add, it's basically creating cousin bait. You know, people more than ever are searching Google for their ancestors, right? And so the more that is out there that we can have linked back to WikiTree, the better. So that's one way. Here's another. John Francis Morrow is one of the burials at my cemetery that I've been working in Raton, and he has a Find a Grave memorial. And on Find a Grave, you can't actually have a URL. So the way I do it, work around, is I put the WikiTree ID in a flower. on his profile or memorial, so that's a way that people can see that he has a profile out on WikiTree. Also, another way is if you're uploading images of a headstone or memorial, you can add in to the description of the image the same information, the profile ID on WikiTree, so that people know that that's an option for more information.
That's a really good tip. Especially because we don't always have a lot of tombstone photos. And some people use a generic tombstone photo of a clip art or something like that, and they could just add that WikiTree ID there.
Yeah. So those are some examples, and definitely if anybody has any ideas or suggestions about how we can link back to WikiTree, we're always open to any information you want to share. And I have outlined there kind of some examples of how to do it, because anybody can contribute to IMDb. It's kind of like Wikipedia or WikiTree. You know, you can create a profile for yourself, and then you can make edits to those profiles of people, notable people out there.
And I think that's really great. The thing that I find most interesting with this panel is we tend to deal in different mediums completely. And we all kind of can share the medium of clicking a like or share, but we all also specialize in a different medium. And I hope today that we've shown a lot of you watching that there are multiple ways to get involved. And if you're sitting there thinking, well, yes, I want to share the WikiTree love because we do want to keep WikiTree free. How do you get involved? So I'm going to ask each of you to give me one or two quick tips on how to get started for your particular medium, or if you have an idea you'd like to share. So let me go ahead and start with Amy. If you had a tip, how to get
I would say just follow the tag in G2G so you keep up on what's happening. Share whatever you are most interested in with your friends, your family, your Facebook feed, LinkedIn, wherever.
And then Marty, how about you?
Yeah, a couple of things. One is back to the comment about links. Two things I've done recently is our historical society here in town, not so much genealogy. We've put a research page, how to research people from our town. And so I was the one who helped create that page. So WikiTree is front and center on that. I mean, the other big guys are too, but so there's a link to WikiTree. But in addition to that, I didn't want to just put, just do a link share. What I did is I'd actually previously created a page for a cemetery. So cemetery pages are great pages for local societies. They're legitimate links to put in that go to cool stuff. So I put that in there, and then I'm in Downers Grove. Unfortunately, there's no Downers surname group, but I found one of the other people that were prominent early in the town, and put that as an example of a surname group. So because that's a big thing locally, we get enamored with some of the early founders and things like that. So and then also just my local genealogy group. I don't know if they're links or not, but they do ask you the types of what do you do in our profiles. There's an opportunity to mention WikiTree, and if not, I should probably go back to them and check to see if there's links. And then back to what my supposed specialty is here in terms of presenting. My guidance would be start small. If you've got some groups will do local breakout meetings, and they might have 30 people and go in little pods, and just choose that as a topic to talk about and get comfortable talking about it in front of a small group. And again, if it's your local genealogy group, they're probably friends of yours. And if you're not, if you've watched one of my presentations, I back in the real world, I had someone, I did this big presentation for Y2K, blah, blah, blah. So one of my marketing people was in the back of the room, and she goes, I go, how'd it go? And she goes, well, you said, I stopped counting at 100 the number of times you said, and my face just dropped. Okay. So, there you go. So I still say, still haven't broken my that, but after 23 years, but I would say it's more substance over style in terms of doing presentations. So And if you're the one thing that should come across, and I think hopefully came across with all of us, is if your passion comes across, the audience will be very very forgiving of if you wander off topic, or you forget a noun, which I frequently do. Knock on wood, I haven't done that yet today, but it was only 7 minutes. So, start small and don't sweat the details.
And I think everybody expects us to be human. If you're perfect, you're a robot. So everybody expects you to be just like them, human. And I say as well. So, and Brian,
I don't have to be on that, Sandy, but
and Brian, what about you? How would somebody get started?
Well, I have the advantage over Marty in YouTube. I can edit out my ums if I really want to.
Yeah.
Honestly, you got a phone, you probably have as good a camera as you're going to get. Most Android or iPhones have great cameras. It doesn't take a lot. Really good suggestion would be a simple, you could do a 60-second profile on a relative. So once you have images for and other things, really easy to do. It's easy to start a YouTube channel. You don't worry about having a lot of followers. Just plug along it and incorporate WikiTree into it when you're showing off the profile. Show how you're getting this information, or where a person can find this information on WikiTree. You can just do even a simple screen recording, so you don't have to show your face and just talk over it. It's a really easy way to share what you're interested in.
And I think that's fabulous, because you do point out that it's very easy for YouTube. And I want to also mention, you don't need the fancy, expensive equipment to start. Like you said, just your phone. Just start with your phone. Almost everybody has a phone. You've got the camera, you got your voice. You don't have to show your face. So some people do like to talk, but don't like to show their face or stand in front of a crowd. YouTube is a way. It's free, and you're already paying cell service, so why not? Go ahead and do it. That's great, Brian. And Chris, how would somebody get started on a blog? Let's say that I don't mind writing, but I don't know what to write about.
Well, just write whatever's in your heart. Basically, I know it sounds corny, but just write whatever's in your heart.
I don't think that's corny, because I can tell you, for those of you that have not read Chris's blog, you can see that you do put your heart into it. You feel like you're right there with your family. You tell a lot of family stories. And so I think that's really helpful as well. And Azure, what about you?
Go ahead.
But yeah, it also goes on to what Brian was saying, about video stuff. Just say whatever, do whatever's in your heart. Just go with the flow. Don't worry about your equipment or anything else. Just go with the flow. There, done.
And just do it, right? Just get it started. Just do it. In Azure?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Find something, a topic or something you like to talk about, and share that. And like Brian said, 60 seconds, short and sweet. Just get started somewhere, something. Even with, like Chris was saying, with your blog, it can just be a short little paragraph about what you were working on that day, or what you want to share, what you're excited about. It can be anything. So with link building, if you're working on a profile of a notable, just go out and do one thing. Add the IMDb little link back, or maybe just add a flower to his Find a Grave memorial. Just one little thing.
And I think that really is true. One little thing is all it takes. And if we have many people doing one little thing, then that really gets the WikiTree name out there and brings people back who are curious, and it keeps WikiTree free. I would say, for my tip, again, family as well, your family and friends, make sure to network with them. They will know you as the person that knows. I can't tell you how many times somebody's come to me and said, well, do we have Native American in our tree or in our DNA? Do we have this person? Am I related to this president, or whoever the notable is, or things? They get to know that you're the expert. So I used to do all the work for them and bring out my phone or my tablet or have them sit down on my computer and look. Now I'm like, here's the link. go look it up. And if you'd like to improve the profile, feel free if you know a story or information. So I network a lot of my family. And again, when I say I come from Appalachian family, I don't mean just my little family. It is a humongous amount of family. All you need to do is say free genealogy website, and they will generally come running, and they're curious. I think all of us have said one common theme is to just do it, just get started. Don't be nervous about what equipment you have, you know, what you look like or what you're working on. Just go ahead and do it. And the easiest way you can get started to help the ambassadors, click like and share on whatever social media that you use. And then jump in, create a blog, talk to us. Let us know about your family. Share it with us as well. Join the Ambassadors Project, and you'll be on a table that shows us where your blog site is, because we want to know your people as well. And do the YouTube channel. Jump in, go ahead. It's free. You've got your phone already. That's all you truly need. And if you like talking in front of others, if you have a particular organization or group that you're already a member in, be forward. Go ask them, hey, can I give a presentation on WikiTree? I know a lot about it and I love it. And I want to share the love. So there's lots of options for us. Guys, this was really intriguing. I have learned a lot from each of you, and I appreciate you guys sharing the love of WikiTree.
Thank you.
And I would say thank you for watching for WikiTree Day 2023. This was the Ambassadors Project, and we highly encourage you to come and join us. We're a fun bunch. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Everybody.